every single time. Because, hey, we're live. Good evening, ladies and menfolk. Welcome to episode 78 of Word Ninjas Live. I am Charles, your instigator of literary and creative insanity. And joining me tonight is my co-host, Justin.
Hello.
And 75% of the Turtleduck crew. From Aaron.
Hi.
Over to KD. And Kit.
Hello.
Unfortunately, Siri was not able to join us. She got eaten by a plague, at least for an indeterminate amount of time, which is unfortunate. And hopefully the rest of my crew did not get eaten by a plague as well. I'm sure they'll join eventually. But in the meantime, we have guests, which means we have interviews, which means questions. And for convenience sake, I'm just going to go down the list in order of what they are in the show notes, which means that Kit is first up.
Lovely. I haven't had time to think about it, so.
Perfect.
Hooray.
I can shift to another one if you'd like.
I don't know, is anyone prepared?
I have notes.
Ooh.
That's more prepared than we even are usually.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, she's ready.
I wanted to prevent having to my mind blanking out on me when I'm talking. Let's see if it works.
Since you have notes and your internet has already gotten a little cranky, hey, it's Aaron's turn.
Hooray.
How'd that happen?
Yay.
So, let's see here. We have 3 questions for each person. Question 1. As author of Fae Touched, how have you coordinated and paced your plot arcs across this planned series? I can talk, really.
Well, first I just want to show the book in case anyone's not familiar. Fae Touched.
It looks shiny and a lot bigger than I expected. I only have it on my Kindle.
Yeah, it's huge. It's like almost 500 pages in print. So
Goodness.
it's okay. As far as plot arcs are going, I think it's going to be a 5-book series, and as of right now, each book stands alone. Meaning you can read it, book 1 or book 2 when it comes out in May. Pretty much either or. Things do happen that build upon, the things that happen build. So it is a good idea to just read in order, but they do stand alone. I do have an overarching issue that's going to start in book 3 and should carry into through book 4 and 5. So that's how I have it planned so far, but that could change.
The writer's dilemma.
Pardon?
The writer's dilemma.
Yeah, that's it. This may be all null and void next week. I don't know. But that's the general idea of what I have going on.
Cool. I look forward to reading the rest, because I've
Awesome.
already read Fae Touched.
Have you? Did you
Yep.
like it?
I did.
Oh, great. It makes me happy.
Although you are welcome to make fun of me, because I don't think I actually reviewed it. I'm very bad about that.
Well, get on it. I need reviews. Please.
And let's see, question number 2 was, which of your characters has surprised you the most so far?
I think it's going to be a character named Fallon in Fae Touched. She is one of the main characters. She is a hunter, and basically how that works is you have the Fae, who are genetically engineered humans who are mortal but have no souls. They can obtain souls legally or illegally, and the Fae Touched hunters hunt the ones that kill while taking souls. So Fallon's one of the hunters. and she's looking for her sister. And in the course of that happening, she decides to search the stream of time, which means that she goes into this virtual reality program and takes a very addictive drug to open herself up to that whole experience, and she becomes an addict, and she has to fight withdrawals through the entire book. And she's very, very, very badass doing all this because she wants to find her sister. She has to know what's going on, so this is what she's done. And it's just amazing. I love her. She's awesome.
And to our viewers and listeners out there, that aspect of the character was one of my favorite parts of that book. It really was very well written.
Thank you.
So
Thank you very
people
much.
should go purchase a copy of it and read it.
Yeah.
And then review it.
Yes, please.
And then remind me to review it.
Yes.
And then get the sequel. It's coming.
And a sequel. May. It's coming. That far off.
I may have to get physical copies of these books so I can have just a whole Turtleduck shelf on
That'd be cool.
my bookshelf over there. Although I'm running out of space on that bookshelf.
Yeah, you need to get like 7 more bookshelves. We have a whole library wall in our office. And it works out well, except the wife has taken over all the shelves.
Oh.
I get like 3 shelves.
Oh.
She's a teacher, though, so she's got a lot of reference books.
Yeah. My shelves are completely, I got like 3rd and 4th layers going on in my shelving. There's just so little space. Too many books.
There's no such thing.
No, there really isn't.
Yeah, my to-be-read bookshelf is already too deep because that's as much as it can be, and there's 3 stacks on the floor. My regular shelf, it's getting too deep.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's how it is.
And the only reason it isn't completely overloaded is because all of my textbooks and academic books are under the bed.
That's a good place to put them.
Hmm.
I
Well,
use mine to prop up my monitors.
that's what I used to do at work from my standing desk.
That's cool.
And let's see, our third question for Aaron is, as the resident, well, also the greatest poet in the group, what's
you.
your process for compiling your chapbooks?
Okay, I have 2. I'm going to show those as well for anybody who's curious. First one, Life is a Moving Target. That is exploring chronic illness and is very, very, very autobiographical. Second one is Without Wings, and this one's about the dark side of love. All kinds of different things, but dark. What happens after the happily ever after is how I explain it. As far as compiling poems, I had an interesting thing going on with both books because the first one, Life is a Moving Target, I wrote all the poems like just boom, 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 one after the other in 2002 while I was trying to find out what was going on with my health. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and intractable vertigo in 2003. And throughout that entire time frame, I was writing all these poems, probably about 40 of them, I would guess. And I just took the ones that I felt were the strongest, that said what I wanted them to say, that didn't repeat, concepts or whatever. And they kind of like had a little narrative going on from beginning to end. I had the first one I ever wrote, and then at the end I got the last one I ever wrote, and kind of a epilogue type of thing. Now Without Wings, it was a little trickier because I didn't have there was no narrative. It was all about different relationships I was in. And so some of them were written 20 years ago. Some of them were written last year, or not last year, but the year before I published it. So it was very tricky. And again, I wanted to do some kind of a narrative of some sort. So I had to kind of play with it and figure out, okay, which one, what do I want to show here? The beginning, the middle, and the end. So that's kind of how I did it.
Cool.
Yeah. A little challenging. I think it came out good, though. I think both of them came out really good. I think. Very happy with both.
I have both of them on my Kindle, but I have not read them yet, apparently.
Okay.
Shame on me.
I also want to make another point about those really quick, about anyone who's watching, and also you, Charles. The poems in this book, when you think about poetry, you probably think of flowery language and rhyme and all kinds of kind of stuff. And I don't write like that. I write like a normal person would talk to somebody. And I think they're a little bit easier to understand that way, I think. So if you're looking, you think, okay, oh yeah, poetry, maybe give it a shot, because you might, you'll understand it better. And I enjoyed writing it. So.
You mean all poems don't have to rhyme?
That's correct.
What?
I know it's a novel concept. When I discovered that, it set my whole life free, because I was like, oh my God, I'm not stuck rhyming. I think you can rhyme well, and it would be great, but I think a lot of poems just, they'd be better if they weren't constrained by rhyme. So I've never rhymed at all, ever.
Do any of your poems have creative formatting or line spacing?
Yes, I have some like that, yes.
That was always my favorite thing to play with when I was
writing.
writing.
It is, and punctuation and different things like that too. I did a little bit of that.
It conveys pacing really well for something so short.
Yeah. I love playing with that kind of stuff. Like where you pause, how you read it, that sort of thing, how it looks on the page. It's all very cool.
I shall have to read them and review them.
Thank you.
And you can make fun of me if I don't.
I'll definitely do that. But let me know if you understood them. That's the important thing.
All right. And for the record, where can our viewers and listeners find your works?
Well, they're pretty much the Fate Touch is on every ebook retailer. Amazon, Nook, iTunes, just about everywhere there. My chapbooks are on Amazon, both print and Kindle, and I believe that's all they are on right now, as of right this second. If I ever figure out Smash Words, I will put them up there too. And that's not going well. So, might be a little while.
And for our viewers and listeners, the links to all three of those books are also in our show notes over at fcwriters.com. So if you want to go that route, you can just click on the links and it'll lead you right there.
Perfect. Hardly no work involved. Just a click.
Maybe two.
Depends on which page I actually linked them to.
Hopefully the right one. And that's something totally different.
Definitely to the right ones, but for some of them it was like the overall page of where all the links were for each book. Some it was just to a specific link.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. That'll work.
All right, time to move down the line. And since we are sometimes orderly, let's just go down the list of little thumbnail heads I have and go to KD.
Hello.
Hi, Kitty.
Where are your questions? There they are. All right. Yes. For KD, what is your Dreamverse series about, and how do the characters evolve through the series? Because you have a whole cast and crew.
I do, and it is ever growing. The Dreamverse is about, well, it begins with Eve Marcori, who is a former Marine, And the first book, she becomes an orphan. This one isn't out yet. It's very much
Spoilers.
about help. Sorry. It is. It's kind of about how it's just hard to get through life without a little bit of help. And so Captain Marcori has made a promise that she, as she was helped when she was young, she will help. And so the first book is Knight Errant. She has rescued Taro and basically made him her little brother. And then Taro doesn't really like the life that she has planned for him. She's trying to send him to college. He wants to go beat everything up and get thrown out of bars at 15.
He's very good at it, to be fair.
He is. He's very good at it. She has kept her promise to take care of him by teaching him everything that she thinks he might need to know, which is, to fight and to fly a ship and to swear in Kalanian and things that a guy needs to get by. So the first book is Knight Errant with Taro. In that book, he falls in love with someone completely unsuitable that Eve thinks is useless. The second book focuses more on him, on Rafe, and his relationship with Taro. That is his faithful squire. And then this is in Dreamverse order, not in publication order. Queensman is Doss, who was saved by Taro. Whoops, I just went out of order. Excuse me. No, this one's the next one. And even the score. Oh, golly, I've really gone out of order. I'm sorry. Even the score, we meet Taro and Rafe are on a frontier planet that basically everything tries to kill you, which it's a lot of fun. It's kind of a murder mystery, a locked room mystery. And in that one, we meet Joss. And Joss is the hero of Queensman, where he is trying to save a 12-year-old girl from politics and really nasty situations. I've also skipped Captain's Boy, which actually chronologically is first. Dante is another person that Eve had rescued. And Captain's Boy is Dante learning to live with the trauma that he has suffered and to make a life afterwards. Through the series, they do all grow. They Taro rescues Keen, and Keen will have a story, and they I try to follow them. Oh boy, I'm just rambling now. They do grow, they change, their problems become different, and some of their problems stay the same. Taro will always be a stubborn dork, and he will always get in trouble for it.
I love Taro. And
So do
Rafe.
I. Rafe will always be a flirt. Rafe will always get in trouble with it.
Hell yeah.
Out of curiosity, how many other characters from the crew are going to potentially get their own books?
Well, when I go back and write or and edit, Eve and Ben will both have books. Eve's daughter Kat will have a book. Keen gets a book. There's a character you haven't met yet named Kolia who will get a book. Dadsia, I think, gets a book. I've got every direction to go here. Keen actually gets 2 books.
Oh my.
Yeah. And that's just one universe.
That's amazing. Really is.
It's fun. I have this one big spreadsheet that has where everybody is at certain times, so that they're not like meeting on the wrong planet or not finding each other when they should. They're on the same planet at the same time.
That's good.
Trying to keep the names varied and important dates and stuff straight.
It's easier said than done when you have a dozen people doing different things in different planets at different times.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. Question number 2. Which of your characters has surprised you the most so far?
You know, it probably was Taro. Taro first appeared in the first novel that I ever completed, which was Eve's book, and he was pretty boring. He was a very calm and you know earnest and eager child, and but he wasn't there very much, and so it didn't occur to me that he was boring. And then I tried to write him a story, and it just wasn't going anywhere. I couldn't find the conflict until I realized that he was gay. And he wasn't attracted to Celine, which is Dante's girlfriend, which is what happened because Celine is a very skimpily dressed young lady, and she's built for the job. So finding out that he was gay, kind of his whole character fell in place. The mouthiness and the swearing and the cockiness, the arrogance that Taro frequently displays, none of that was there until I realized that he was gay, and then everything showed up at once. Which has nothing to do with him being gay, but it just, everything just kind of, surprise, different person than you thought he was entirely.
You already hinted your answer for question number 3, but as author of the Dreamverse, how do you keep track of all your various characters, plot lines, and story arcs?
I have a big spreadsheet. I'm good with spreadsheets. I do.
CJ, your favorite method of tracking plots?
Mm.
I also have a wiki that I try to keep maintained with little bits of information that I stick in here and there. There is a standard time across the galaxy, but the planets obviously don't follow it because, then they'd be up in the middle of the night. So I have to keep track of how many hours ahead or behind a standard time they are, or when their seasons are sometimes. But yeah, spreadsheet, wiki. I have a wonderful fan who is the knitter of the squid, all the squid that I showed last week almost, and she's always willing to dive into one of the books and look for a fact for me if I can't find it, which is really, really a wonderful thing.
I could use one of those for after I finally finish my trilogy. I don't want to look for all those facts.
I actually maintained a wiki for one of my novels for Nano, and I found it really helpful when you have a lot of characters. And then you can have like bio pages for each character, so you can kind of get like a gross overview of what the characters' aspirations are. So I definitely recommend the wiki thing if you have a lot of and especially if you're doing a lot of writing like on the go, and you're not just staying at home with all your notebooks. If you sneak in some writing at work, it's always good to have that wiki available that you can just log into from online.
That's a great idea. I haven't done that yet, but I should.
It's a little...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is going to date me. I used to maintain a live journal for my trilogy.
Oh, that doesn't date you. We all have live journals.
Yeah, I have one too. It's defunct, though.
Yeah, my live journal is definitely dead by now.
Tumblr's the new live journal, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, I still need to get on Tumblr. I haven't done that yet.
It is a dangerous website.
I still have to finish coding the CSS on that.
And to wrap up Katie's interview, where can our viewers and listeners find all of your books for purchase and review and reading and whatnot?
Probably the easiest way is just to go to my website, katiesarge.com. They are all linked there. Most of them have summaries and an image of the cover and some reviews and links to Amazon and Smashwords. Through Smashwords, you can get pretty much any format that you might need. You can get Kindle as well if you don't like to go through Amazon. You can get the Kindle type format. Yeah, katiesarge.com.
And that brings us to Kit. So we basically just went in reverse order. All right, for Kit, the first question is, what is your book Shards about?
Shards, woo! Shards is a mythic urban fantasy about a graduate student who is having issues figuring out where she belongs in the world, and some characters that have a lot to do with why she is having issues with that subject.
And a lot of shenanigans ensue.
Indeed.
And a surprise question that was added in when I was thankfully notified about it. What is Hidden Worlds about? Because I forgot about that one earlier.
It's easy to forget Hidden Worlds. It was one of our launch books, but it doesn't actually fall into our normal genre, so we don't talk about it very much. But it's a fantasy adventure about a magical writing community. And this magical writing community has a tool known as the door. And through the door, all stories come to life. So then the people who belong to the writing community can go through the door and interact with their characters or watch scenes or whatever they need. But there's one rule, and the rule is that you have to tell someone before you go through the door. And the main character, Marjorie, does not listen to the rule, and she manages to unsettle everything and get trapped inside. And then adventure, shenanigans.
It's a fun read.
Mm.
It is. It's very cool.
I like Hidden Worlds. Like, I reread it 4 months ago, maybe? Because I hadn't read it since, like, 2010. But I like it. But, biased. But what I find interesting about Hidden Worlds is I wrote it and I thought it would be very narrow in its appeal. But everyone who's read it, and it's been a very wide selection of people, from kids to grandfathers, and everyone has liked it, which is very strange to think about.
I know I want to use that magic door. It would come in very handy at times.
Yeah, me too.
Can we just use a doorstop on it or something? Does that work?
It does technically work while it's open.
Let's see here. Question number 2. Which of your characters has surprised you most so far? Hey, I see a trend here.
Well, to stick with characters in my Turtleduck books, with Shards has a lot of different mythologies mixed into it. And when I was writing it, Thor was very much a surprise. I didn't know he was going to show up. I didn't know he was going to keep showing up. And but he's one of my favorite characters for that universe, so I'm glad he did. But kind of more general answer to the question is, with the last couple of years where I've been focusing more on editing than writing, when I tweak characters, give them a new character trait or whatever, even if it's just a little small change, it's surprising how much of a ripple effect that has. So, you change one thing about the character and you're like, oh, well, this is going to just change this one thing, but then, it also ends up changing all this other stuff that feeds from it. So that's been very interesting to see.
Yeah, I know that concept holds true for my characters as well. Slash and Burn were originally two guys, but when one of them got an impromptu sex change, that ripple affected the entire universe.
Whoa.
As surprise sex changes do.
Especially the surprise ones.
And as a book editor and formatter, is there anything you'd ask writers to keep in mind or be aware of to make your job easier?
With formatting, I find this a lot with my older clients, who learn to type on a typewriter. But sometimes I'll get books to format where people will have put returns at the end of every single line, or they will do spaces to get the amount of indent they need. Don't do that. Your word processor will do it for you. Please don't do that.
No two spaces after a period.
I was just going to ask that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get out of doing that. Because I learned on a typewriter too, and it's ingrained. So now I'm starting to, one space, but forever I was doing two spaces, and just changing it, in the document with the find and replace.
I did the two spaces for a long time too, because for a while I was like, no, this is the right way to do it. Two spaces. What's wrong with everyone? But I got over that.
Yeah. I'm working on it.
Thankfully, both my writing and my work editing, everyone seems to stick to the one space. It's the serial commas that have been a constant battle.
Oh, yeah. That
I
sounds
vote
like
yes on serial commas.
I do too.
So not AP style then.
I'm not a huge fan of AP style. I think it makes things a little confusing, but it is simple, which I think is the point.
I think our opinions align perfectly on that one. It's a shame one of my jobs uses AP style.
Yeah, I have a job that uses AP as well. You just get used to it. When I'm writing for them, fine. At this point, I've been working for them for so long that it's second nature. I'm like, okay, I'm doing this job, write like this. And then the rest of the time, I don't do it.
Yeah, with my own writing, all of the commas.
I know that. I've edited your stuff. You are extra fond of commas.
Just a bit.
When I was in first grade, my friend told me that you use commas if your words are too close together. So I used them.
All right.
I am getting better. I now use semicolons every once in a while.
But do you use them correctly?
Sometimes. It's a work in progress.
Semicolons confound me. I just stay far away from them.
Sometimes that's for the best.
Yeah.
Nice meeting you with
Yeah.
the This creature.
There's another tip. Do not confuse your commas and your semicolons. That's infuriating.
They're not the same thing.
Interrobangs, though, those are the wave of the future.
Yeah, and Caravan.
Uh,
Woo!
I am an avid supporter of the Interrobang.
We need more fonts that support the Interrobang character, though.
Yes. We need to petition whoever standardizes computer keyboards, I think it's ASCII or whoever it is, to make an Interrobang key. We need it.
That's a great idea.
It would be put to very good use. At least for me, anyway.
Same here.
Absolutely.
And by most of Tumblr.
I think the Interrobang just sums up Tumblr. All right, before we derail our derailment, Kit, where can people find your books for purchase and reading and review and enjoyment?
I offer them on everywhere. So any ebook platform should have them all. Smashwords, Amazon. You have to go to Amazon for the print version. Although, if you want a signed copy of Shards, you can get that off my website. My website is kitcampbellbooks.com. I have sections for each book with links to all their formats and reviews and extra information, so check that out there. Also, Turtleduckpress.com has all the books that we have published, as well as a blog that we do, so you can... Oh, and free stories. Free short stories every month.
That's right.
Turtleduck Press's website. So yeah, you should check that out.
And if someone were to want to send you a manuscript or some sort for editing, just riddled with commas and semicolons, how would they go about doing that?
kittheeditor.com. Our favorite website. Or you can email me at kittheeditor@gmail.com. Skip the website. Well, you can see my lovely hand-drawn logo if you go to the website.
I do not remember this. No, that's the wrong link. Clicked on the books one. Oh, that one. Very nice. And again, to our viewers and listeners, all of the links to all of these books and peoples and everything is in the show notes. Just go to fcwriters.com, find episode 78. It's all in there, including all of the links for Siri, who was unfortunately unable to join us. Hopefully, we'll be able to reschedule with her at some point to get her on and get answers to all of those questions. But until that, it is time to go on to the next segment, which means it's time for the weekly conversation topic. And the weekly conversation topic for this week is, how does expanding your quote-unquote products and services affect you? And this mainly came about because, at least for my crew, we've kind of kicked things into high gear with various endeavors, or like taking care of unusual commission work, or made progress on some of our 2015 goals. And I'm curious how people are affected or encouraged or whatnot by all of this. And our guests are more than welcome to chime in as well, if they so feel like it. commence with the roundtable discussions.
Well, what do you mean by effect exactly?
Well, like I managed to surprisingly actually do recordings yesterday after several failed attempts, and I was very encouraged and somewhat surprised at how much I actually enjoyed it once I got into it, once I finally figured out kind of what I was doing, and now I want to try and keep that momentum going somehow. So I'm curious if other people are like energized or inspired by their productivity and whatnot.
Well, I'm working on the revision of Grave Touched, which is coming out in May. And I'm still not halfway through yet, which sucks. But I'm working on it every day steadily, so I'm pretty sure I'll get it done. But it's been interesting, from the rough drafts to, editing and rewriting and all that kind of good stuff.
Well, with trying new things by, expanding, as you say, I find it kind of terrifying, honestly. And I think part of that is because I'm not quite sure how it's going to go. I don't tend to promote related things that I do as much. It's kind of a fear of failure, fear of success problem. I'm worried it's going to be really popular, so I don't say anything, or I'm worried it's going to fail, so I don't say anything. And then, nothing happens with it.
I have the same thought on that.
I've
That's
never experienced that before.
It's like I set up a Patreon months ago, October, I think, and then I didn't tell anybody about it. Not a single person. And I finally put up a video on my page a couple weeks ago and told people about it. But, it's still not really promoting it. So, of course, nobody has signed up to be my patron. And part of me is okay with that because it means I don't have to do the stuff that I said I would give people if they gave me money. So
no pressure.
yeah. It's out there if people want to do it, but if they don't, I don't have to do anything with it, and it's okay.
I think the what would I call it? The modesty of creative people, and the somewhat, socially shy, is actually something that permeates basically all of the creative arts. Like I listen to a lot of podcasts, and whenever like a stand-up comedian comes on, like not like a Louis C.K., but like another stand-up comedian comes on, they'll always kind of whisper their website and not yeah, I got a Twitter, I guess, if you want to go on it. I don't know why you would, but I mean it's there. So you're definitely not alone in that. I find it somewhat challenging myself, but I don't. I think I'm more. Yeah, I guess I don't really promote a whole bunch of stuff, and I don't work on projects that I have just because I'm afraid. I'm always afraid to start, and then, oh, well, if my website's not up, and then if it's not successful, then who cares? So I definitely get a little bit of that as well.
I have a book that I have in progress since 2004 that I love totally, but it's in 12 pieces. So I finally said this year I'm going to work on it. But it's kind of scary because it's like, okay, I got all this work to do to make it up to snuff, and I want to publish it, but I'm worried that in the course of all this work, it's going to get horribly tangled. So I have a little fear there too.
That's how I feel about my 10-year-old trilogy at this point. Trying to finally get that rolling again, but I don't... Oh, we lost Will. I don't expect it to be a fear of success issue. It's more a fear of I'm going to put all this time and make it what I want it to be, and then no one's going to care.
Oh, people will care. I
'Cause
assure you.
this will be my first fictional release. I've done the whole reference book thing, and that was terrifying enough as it was, but
Yeah,
we
it's
do
terrifying.
sci-fi piece? I don't know.
I'm doing the reference book now. I've been working on. I've got this whole nonfiction book series I'm going to write about writing, and I'm most of the way through the first book, and it's just like terrifying. Even though I've got the 2 books out, plus we've got the 4 anthologies, and I have stories in other anthologies that are outside of Turtleduck Press. But the thought of like doing the nonfiction thing is terrifying.
Yeah, I think that would be terrifying.
Seems like we all have our respective comfort zones, but every once in a while we're stepping outside of it.
I think one thing that helps me a lot is to, I go through phases where I really care what other people think, and then I go through phases where I don't care what anyone thinks. And the phases where I don't care what anyone thinks and I do stuff for me, I find a lot more. I find myself a lot more productive during those phases.
Yep.
So I'm writing a book this year and trying to get it out, and I'm not really writing it for anybody but me. It's sort of cathartic in a way to write the topic that I'm writing. And then, I'll probably release it somewhat for free online or one of those, pay what you want, whatever, or at least just get my name out there. But that's not really the end goal. Doing things for myself and then succeeding in them because I have low standards for myself work out really well. For example, just yesterday, I do a workout routine, and, I got a bunch of gym equipment at home and stuff. Listeners of the podcast already know most of that. But the big hurdle that I just crossed is actually doing the entire workout from start to finish. Warm-up exercises, cool down, stretching. I didn't cheat. I didn't skip anything, and I did that for me, and I felt really good about it, and that kind of pushed me forward, saying, "Oh, I really can do this." So I think, getting out of your comfort zone and producing something for yourself is probably a little better headspace than trying to produce something for somebody else.
I agree with that. That's how Fate Touch came about, because I was getting very disillusioned with writing. I had this one manuscript that I was trying to work on. I wrote it 4 times. I wanted to submit it to agents. But I got so disillusioned and disappointed with myself that I said, oh my God, I can't write anymore. So I said, okay, forget it. I'm just going to write for myself. And that's how Fate Touch became into being. It was for myself work. And it happened to be, come out really good. So I self-published it. But it was really supposed to be just for me. So I could get the love back. And I did, thankfully.
Hooray.
Yeah.
I think it's Chris Beatty who advises if you're stuck to make a list of things that you like to see in books and then put them in a book.
Yeah.
I've been trying to do that. I have the Flame series, which I started. I've been serializing it on Turtleduck Press, and that's what I'm doing with that one. It's just for fun. I think it's coming out pretty awesome, but the goal is that I really enjoy writing it. And I think that joy comes through, and people will enjoy reading it.
Yeah, the joy coming through, I think, is a big, important part of this. Reading your work. If you weren't passionate about it while you were writing it, they're not going to be passionate about it reading it.
Exactly.
I think that your emotional state while going through the writing process really translates very well to the audience. And I think that's super important.
Very. I think it's very important too.
The me writing the book, and this will be my first book that I've written since I was like, I don't know, 13. I used to write a lot, and again, people on the who are familiar with the podcast know most of these stories, but I had a whole bunch of manuscripts of all the things that I wrote growing up, and some of them were pretty good. You know, I read a lot of Stephen King and other stuff, you know, when I was a small child, and you know, Michael Crichton. So I had a lot of good background, and I wrote a bunch of stuff that actually was probably pretty good. And then one year, my little brother decided to glue all of my manuscripts to my desk and paint on them, destroying everything.
Oh my God!
So sorry.
And at that moment, I lost the will to write ever again. And it's only now, basically through Nano, that I've come to enjoy writing again.
Oh, that's good.
And so I've been doing some small amounts of writing on the side. I really do love Nano. I try to do it every year. I do it every year. I try to win every year. And I want to publish this book and self-publish it, not so that I can get famous, but to show myself that it wasn't all lost and that I still have it.
Yeah.
And it's definitely for me. And I think it's a story that I can write, that I have enough background information where I can actually do it justice. You know, I'm always afraid that I'm not going to be able to do something justice. And I don't have any formal writing training. I never really took a whole lot of, you know, especially in college, I never took any writing classes. So as far as I know, I'm a horrible writer, and I would never know because I've never shared anything with anybody since I was like a teenager. So actually putting something out and getting a baseline response, positive or negative, I think will at least start the chain going. And I'll learn from the experience, and you know, maybe I'll take an online class or two, or do a short story swap or something. You know, there's a lot of things I've been trying to get together. But my journey is just beginning. And back on point on the topic, I think just doing it is really what's important, and it's really driving me forward. And I'm super excited about this year and the following years.
That is awesome.
Because I'm back.
Yeah.
And that's what's important.
Yes. That's awesome.
Do any of the more silent people so far have any additional commentary before we migrate on?
After that inspirational speech, come on, no one's going to be able to follow that CJ.
Yeah, really.
Which is why I continue to stay silent.
Depends on if my microphone... Oh, hey, my microphone's working.
Yay.
I should just wait until the end to speak.
I'm inspired by it.
I'm just trying to make time in the day with all the new stuff I'm trying to get done.
Well, you have been pretty productive lately.
Trying.
I think it's been pretty exciting for me to see Game Break get off the ground, and like seeing the progress that all of us have made. Excuse me. Within that realm, like seeing all of us try to get out of our comfort zones and like try to put a little piece of ourselves in these gaming videos. Like it was exciting for me. Like. Just kind of letting myself unhinge for a little bit while playing I Am Bread. Oh, that game.
I don't think there's a way to play that game while hinged.
So between watching Game Break start to grow, watching these videos come in, like seeing Will doing such a great job with these videos, like I have to commend him on it. Like, he's been doing fantastic. So
I do what I can.
That's been pretty exciting, and also trying to work on the music for Infinity's Light, I, I I've come to realize that it's like incredibly exciting and incredibly frightening at the same time. Like, most of the crew like knows that my standard output of music for like a given year is like no more than 4 or 5 tracks. I've written 5 tracks in 2 months.
Whoa.
for this soundtrack. It's exciting to know that like I'm capable of this output, and also like a little frightening, as I said, like frightening at the same time. Can I keep this momentum going? Will life get in the way again? And
Not allowed.
It'll try.
It is tried. But I'm trying to I'm really doing the best I can to get past all of life's hurdles, and all of the basically a lot of unfounded fears that I'm feeling about putting this together, and just trying to do my best to make really good music. I think another thing that's frightening me a little bit is that I'm arranging all this music, and I don't have any formal music training.
Oh wow.
So that's the other thing. That's the other thing.
And that's inspiring to me.
It is inspiring.
With no formal training in any way, shape, or form on anything creative.
I make up for my lack of formal training with a lot of bits and pieces of things that I've learned over the years. I think especially doing I think it was between junior high school and high school 6 years of chorus. So looking at sheet music, looking at how all of that, all of the classical composers arrange things, looking at how arrangements are made and are put together, translating that into string sections, string arrangements. I'm pretty sure your standard issue composer would look at me and say, no, don't. Why? How? No. But you know what? It's working out very well. I've been able to translate that pretty well, and I've been really proud of the stuff I've been putting together. It just sounds it sounds incredible. If I do say so myself. So that's something that's really been exciting me these days, and getting me through life right now.
That's awesome.
So
it's very cool.
Well, good things happening.
Yay, good things. We're due for them.
Seriously. So I hope that was an acceptable answer.
I guess we'll take it.
All right. All right.
All right. Time to roll over to the highlights reel for this week. We only have 2 pieces, but let's slip over to screen share. The news piece that came across my computer for this week was from DC Comics, who I still have opinions about with their latest multiverse restructuring, but they've officially announced their new series and which ones are going to be sticking around. And I am intrigued by several new ones coming out. Mainly Batman Beyond, because that was a fantastic animated series, and I'm curious to see how the comic book series goes.
Mm.
I'm hesitant about Batmite because how does that character get its own series? Is there really enough there to carry a series? I don't know about that one. I mean, you also got Bizarro, always fun. Black Canary, Constantine, the Hellblazer. That's a fun character, a fun series at times. I'm curious to see how that one goes, because that's been hit or miss depending on the writer and artist combination. Cyborg, the Dark Universe, as opposed to the regular one. I kind of wish they gave little blurbs about these so you could get an idea. Apparently, the Green Lantern lost an army. Not quite sure how they managed that. One series is just called Doomed. Yeah, there's nothing to really go off of there. Earth 2 Society, Dr. Fate, Harley Quinn and Power Girl. Not really the duo I would have expected out of that, but I'm curious about that one. Someone has their speaker on. Justice League of America, I didn't realize that one went away, so I'm kind of surprised to see that on the new titles. Justice League 3001, so in the future and all that, Martian Manhunter, Midnighter never heard of, Mystic U never heard of, Omega Man. Sounds like a bad Mega Man villain. A title just called Prez, Prez. Okay. Robin, Son of Batman. Also Red Hood / Arsenal, and We Are Robin. So it looks like Robin is getting all sorts of new series. I'm hesitant about those because there's been a lot of Robins. Some better than others. Some that really just should not come back. It's okay to leave them alone for a while. Apparently the titles that managed to make the cut for continuing after their whole Convergence event going on this year, Action Comics, of course, and the whole staple of Aquaman, Batgirl, Batman, Detective Comics, Batman and Superman, Catwoman, The Flash, apparently Gotham Academy and Gotham by Midnight. So that's nice. I don't know why Grayson has his own series. That seems unnecessary, but that one's continuing. My favorite, Green Arrow. I'm glad to see that Harley Quinn manages to continue her own series because they've really developed that character over the past couple years after the New 52 came out. She is actually back to a three-dimensional character, not just hanging on to the Joker. And she actually has her intelligence back because she was a doctor at once. So, yay for female representation that is not just silly or comedic relief. And the other staples like Superman, Teen Titans, Wonder Woman. Not sure what happened to the old Suicide Squad, that they need the new Suicide Squad. I guess maybe they didn't make the cut. I haven't read that series in forever, so I'm kind of out of the loop on that one, but seems like DC is really trying to ramp up some new storylines while continuing the mainstays because you got to keep the reliable ones. So hopefully their stupid Convergence event, multiverse shenanigans don't throw off too many of their regular fans. I'm getting tired of their restructurings. Do they really need to do it every couple years? Can they just have some fun again? It would be nice. We shall see. And the other highlight for this week is, if I can click on it, I decided to add Patreon to the list of highlights because I've been getting more and more notifications of various people we know setting up Patreons. The latest one that came across was Katie, who does A+D duct tape, or Angles and Dangles. We've been at a couple conventions with her, including Your Minicon this year. She started one up, I want to say earlier this month. It's just A+D duct tape over at Patreon. You get all sorts of shiny baubles if you support her in her duct tape endeavors. And she finally got a mascot, which is a little duct tape duck, which is very appropriate. And those are your highlights for this week. The links to all that stuff is in the show notes, of course, if you want to check it out for yourself. If you have opinions on the whole DC-verse stuff, by all means, post in the YouTube comments or the iTunes comments and all that, as appropriate. Seeing as it's one of the two main comic book distributors, I'm sure people have opinions on it. It's not just me. All right. Onwards to productivity and inspiration. Over the past week, I have learned the woes of recording attempts and exporting and saving and aspect ratios and Bandicam and Camtasia and everything else doing funky things as I try to do recordings. So now I know how Calvin feels.
Welcome to my world. Welcome to my nightmare.
Yeah, Calvin, you're going to be getting some nightmares from me pretty soon. We'll have to work out the best throughput on that to make your life a little easier.
Okay.
My stuff works.
Yeah, well, you're the professional out of the group.
Let's just say my webcam is going to be on a different video than the actual gameplay. Good luck!
Well, to be fair, I'm only going to be doing the face cam probably on the Mac because Bandicam is being very frustrating at the moment until I can sort that out. But at least
debating.
that one... Go ahead.
I was going to say I'm debating recording a separate audio track on a better mic that would just be used. Hey, use this audio track. But Shadowplay does a pretty good job of the audio recording. And if we play multiplayer and we're on a Skype phone call, it records everyone on the Skype call. It just pulls directly from the sound card, which is nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I managed to get half of my episodes of Commander Keen recorded because it took 5 or 6 attempts to get the first half of work. And I managed to get 3 episodes down for the visual novel Dysfunctional Systems, which I'm having a little too much fun with.
I've seen the first 2 videos. Yes, you are.
Oh, just wait till the 3rd one. That's when I actually get into it. I'm also adapting to a rotating cast of non-work friends, as everyone's respective aspirations are not really aligning at the moment. So certain people I'm not really in touch with anymore, while others are slowly fading in, which is weird. I don't like change, but you gotta deal with it. And I've also defeated 2 12-hour workdays in a row.
Whoa.
Monday and Tuesday were 12-hour workdays for day job, and then I did other stuff after that. So I consider that an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is also why I get to take Friday off as compensation.
Awesome.
Nice.
Too bad that it's tomorrow that is the snow day and not Friday. All right, moving down the list, how did Will fare over the past week?
Let's see. I got the next chapter of Roommate all typed up. It's all good to go. I just have to edit it. Probably tonight. hopefully. So looking forward to getting that finally done. I'm getting into the habit of recording every day for Game Break, but considering in the last video I finally got access to what I guess is the game's fast travel system, and I've unlocked one out of, it looked like 8 nodes. It looks like I'm going to be playing Bioshock for a while.
I have a feeling for games like that, we might just be a rotating cast of Will is going to be playing 5 days a week for a month, and then someone else gets the turn.
we can figure out release schedules and whatnot later, but yeah, that could be possible. It's just like me for a month. And on an inspirational note, Ed was watching an anime of his that he hadn't seen before, but he read the manga before, and it inspired me and reminded me of an old story idea I had in my head that was poking around just because it had similar themes.
What did Vampire Night do to you?
I have my own little vampire thing in my head. At least it didn't have the ridiculous gaggle of fangirls that are like as one-dimensional as you could possibly get. But I'm not here to discuss Vampire Night. So, another time, perhaps.
And there goes a potential sponsor.
It's good. It's just there were some parts of the story I was like, is this entire school of characters literally here just to maintain this one plot point?
Yep.
Yep, they are. Okay. Okay. Fine.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I may have to poke at that idea and get some ideas down for that too. Just what I need.
And how about Justin?
Well, as I said before, I did that complete workout from start to finish. That was a hugely productive and celebratory event. That some people understood why it was so important, and some people did not, and that's okay. I also cleaned the apartment from floor to ceiling, which took all day, and my wonderful wife helped me out, and she didn't complain at all, and she didn't get distracted too much, so we worked together, and it came out well. And I also set up a Don't Break the Chain calendar as per a suggestion on one of the other episodes. And so far I have 3 X's in a row. So I think I win? Is that how Don't Break the Chain works? 3 in a row?
You get it.
It's 365 in a row.
That is a big tic-tac board. That may be an unwinnable game. Overall this week, while I didn't do some of the things that I really had wanted to do, I got a lot of other stuff done, which also needed to be done. So I feel like this week was more accomplished than most weeks. Now, this week coming up, probably not so much, but we'll see how that goes.
And how about Calvin?
So I think this week I offset some of the panic and anxiety I was feeling about putting the soundtrack together by trying to gain inspiration from some of my favorite composers. And this week I listened to a whole bunch of songs from the Ghost in the Shell standalone complex soundtracks.
Oh, good days.
Yes. Which was composed by Yoko Kanno, who is one of my absolute favorite composers. Like the string arrangements in the standalone complex soundtracks are like out of this world, and since I'm trying to put together string arrangements myself, that has been a very good source of inspiration for me. So that's been helping offset some of the panic. let's see, what else have I been doing? I've been trying to listen to other genres of music, trying to gain inspiration and try to psych myself up for a lot of the fun things that are happening amidst all the unfun things that have been happening lately. So that's been a good thing. And last week I made it through a recording of my playing through I Am Bread, which took 3 tries because the game kept crashing on me. No, it took 5 tries actually. I think I blocked out a couple of those tries because 1, they were terrible, and 2, I was so upset, I was so angry that the game crapped out on me, because when the game crashes, the video crashes too. So so all I got for 4 takes was just audio. But yeah, I made it through 5 playthroughs, which only equates to 1, but I'm happy with it.
Hooray.
Yay.
And as far as our guests are concerned, have any of you had inspiration or productivity since last episode you were all on that you'd like to share? Or were you all just preparing and waiting in anticipation for this episode?
We're like twitching in anticipation. Like I said, I've been trying to revise, rewrite Grave Touch. That's basically what I've been doing for like ever. It's been fun.
Feels like forever.
Yeah, it does.
It's only been 10 days since I sent it back to you, Aaron.
I know. You did a good job, by the way. You did a great job.
Good, I'm glad.
Making me think, which is important. It's only been 10 days. Feels like I've been at this for a month. What happened? I'm in a time warp. Okay. I'm done.
I'm gearing up to do the same. I will be submitting a novel in a new universe, new to most people. And I've sent it to a couple friends to basically, I told them to rip it apart, tell me where the world building doesn't work, where you have questions. I feel like I'm kind of leaping off a bridge with that one because it is a trilogy. I have the first one written. I have the second one. Most of the scenes are there. I know where it begins. I know where it ends. I can fix it. The third one, I don't know how I'm getting them out of that mess. So I'm thinking about that a lot.
I screwed all up!
I am almost done editing a young adult paranormal novel that I've been working on for 6 or 7 months, I think. So, almost done. I have to do the climax scene, then it'll be done.
Yay.
Yay.
And I am mostly done writing my first non-fiction book now, which I will probably try to send out to as many people who will take it, because I have a feeling that it's not quite as complete as it could be. So that's what I've been working on.
Cool. All right. With that, that is a show. Because, as we mentioned last week, Muse Food has migrated and spun out to its own little thing on Saturdays. And we finally figured out the logistics for that. So check out fcwriters.com on Saturday, or our YouTube channel on Saturday. Don't know what time on Saturday, but we'll get there. Which means that is a show. Which means outro. If we entertained you in any way, shape, or form, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can watch, comment, and thumbs up all of our various videos and shenanigans. If you want to talk to us via Twitter, it's at FCWordNinja, and you get bonus points if you use the hashtag WordNinjas. If you want to follow us on Tumblr, it's fcwordninja.tumblr.com. You can also like our Facebook page, facebook.com/fullcoveragewriters. Converse with us, talk to us, continue the conversations and talkie points. Or ask us questions that we'll bring up on future episodes. If you want to help fund our various endeavors, go peruse our Etsy store, etsy.com/shop/fullcoveragewriters, where you can purchase all sorts of shiny baubles. Too many S's. If you're curious about the shiny baubles, there's books, booklets, bookmarks, a lot of things starting with B, because we seem to like alliteration over here. Any purchases that you make help pay for stuff like audiobook recordings, convention attendance and coordination, tech and recording upgrades, global domination, the regular stuff.
The usual.
The usual. And our regular reminder that Word Ninjas Live is brought to you by Full Coverage Writers, which is the overall organization. You can go check out fcwriters.com, where we have the entire backlog of Word Ninjas Live. We have all of the Muse Food archives. We have worksheets. We have workshops. We have everything, basically. So go check it out. And with that, it's time to sign out one by one and let everyone know who was actually on this episode and where can they track us down individually. I'm going to let our guests go first, and going down the line is Aaron. Where can people find you?
People can find me on my website, aaronzaro.com, Twitter, eKendall. It's with an A, Kendall. Also on Facebook at Aaron Zaro. And I'm missing something. Blog. My blog. Pardon? Turtleduck Press.com. And also my blog, Weaver Words, which is aaronkendall.wordpress.com. I think that's it.
And how about KD? Where can people find you?
kdsarge.com, on Twitter at kdsarge, on Tumblr as kdsarge, on Facebook as kdsarge. And CJ, can you see this?
Yes.
Big fish, all right? You promised some reviews, so just so you know.
Beware the fish.
I'll see what I can do.
No, seriously, thanks for having us. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. It's been great.
And speaking of...
I'm sorry. Well, we enjoyed having you. At least I did, anyway.
And speaking of fun, rounding out the trilogy of people, Kit.
Ooh, I'm book 3. Awesome. Fiction and my blog are at kitcampbellbooks.com. If you want editing or formatting or coaching for self-publishing, it's at kittheeditor.com. I'm on Twitter at kitcampbell, and I am on Tumblr at kit-campbell.tumblr.com. And I think that's everywhere. Hopefully.
I think all of the main links for all of you are in the show notes for people to click on and track down and all that, just in case.
Great.
And as for our crew, I'm going to throw them off balance and actually go in reverse order, which means it's Calvin's turn.
Gasp. All right. Okay. Let's see. You can find me at my portfolio website, calvin.cwillia.ms. You can find me on Tumblr at instacal.tumblr.com. Twitter and Instagram are at ccwii, and you can hear some of my music and various goings-on thereabouts at soundcloud.com/soundsbycalvin. There you go.
And how about Justin? Justin is muted.
Apologies. As per usual, since I don't actually have my websites up and running, I'm not allowed to promote them. So screw me, and better luck next time.
I'm making this declaration that by episode 100, you have to have something that you can promote. It is up and running.
I expect it will be next week, but I've said that on running 12 weeks in a row, I think.
Episode 100 is around the time of Kineticon, so you have a few months.
All right, so I've got some time. That's good.
Beware the fish, Justin.
Oh no, I have to beware the fish now too.
And where can people find Will?
Oh, hey, I'm third this time. You can usually find me on my Tumblr page at darkhom.tumblr.com. It's spelled DARKHOM. If you're interested in anything about my writings, you can check out myroommatesastripper.tumblr.com. That one is, of course, 18 plus, so adults only.
And as for myself, you can track me down on my personal Tumblr, fancypantswolf.tumblr.com. If you're interested in my slash and burn trilogy, I can talk, I swear. It is /andburntrilogy.tumblr.com. Nice and easy. You can catch me on the Fairy Tale podcast as Makarov on their YouTube channel on Monday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. About 50% of the time now. I have a 50-50 track record of attendance lately. But I'm hoping to at least get up to like 75%, maybe like 3 out of 4 episodes a month would be nice. If my schedule ever plays nice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Wishful thinking. And of course, if you're curious about any of the other ways to track us down or contact us, it's all on the About Us page over at fcwriters.com. So, again, go check out the website because everything is there. Go do it. Go do it right now. This episode is over. You're done watching it. You're done listening to it. You can go right there.
Do what he says.
Done and done.
Beware the fish.
fcwriters.com.
And turtleduckpress.com.
Yes, turtleduckpress.com.
And that's it, ladies and menfolk. That is episode 78 of Word Ninjas Live. Thank you for joining us. Tune in next week for episode 79, where I have no idea what we're going to do or what's going on, because I haven't prepared that far yet. But tune in anyway. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Night.
Night.
Bye.
Yeah, that's how it is.
And the only reason it isn't completely overloaded is because all of my textbooks and academic books are under the bed.
That's a good place to put them.
Well,
I use mine to prop up my monitors.
that's what I used to do at work from my standing desk.
That's cool.
And let's see. Our third question for Aaron is, as the resident, well, also the greatest poet in the group, what's your process for compiling your chapbooks?
Okay, I have 2. I'm going to show those as well, for anybody who's curious. First one, Life is a Moving Target. that is exploring chronic illness and is very, very, very autobiographical. Second one is Without Wings, and this one's about the dark side of love. All kinds of different things, but dark. What happens after the happily ever after is how I explain it. As far as compiling poems, I had an interesting thing going on with both books, because the first one, Life is a Moving Target, I wrote all the poems like just boom, 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 one after the other in 2002, while I was trying to find out what was going on with my health. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and intractable vertigo in 2003. And throughout that entire time frame, I was writing all these poems, probably about 40 of them, I would guess.
Every single time. Because, hey, we're live. Good evening, ladies and men folk. Welcome to episode 78 of Word Ninjas Live. I am Charles, your instigator of literary and creative insanity. And joining me tonight is my co-host, Justin.
Hello.
And 75% of the Turtleduck crew. From Aaron.
Hi.
Over to KD. And Kit.
Hello.
Unfortunately, Siri was not able to join us. She got eaten by a plague, at least for an indeterminate amount of time, which is unfortunate. And hopefully the rest of my crew did not get eaten by a plague as well. I'm sure they'll join eventually. But in the meantime, we have guests, which means we have interviews, which means questions. And for convenience sake, I'm just going to go down the list in order of what they are in the show notes, which means that Kit is first up.
Lovely. I haven't had time to think about it, so.
Perfect.
Hooray.
I can shift to another one if you'd like.
I don't know, is anyone prepared?
I have notes.
That's more prepared than we even are usually.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, she's ready.
I wanted to prevent having to my mind blanking out on me when I'm talking. Let's see if it works. Withdrawals through the entire book. And she's very, very, very badass doing all this, because she wants to find her sister. She has to know what's going on, so this is what she's done. And it's just amazing. I love her. She's awesome.
And to our viewers and listeners out there, that aspect of the character was one of my favorite parts of that book. It really was very well written.
Thank you.
So
Thank you very
people
much.
should go purchase a copy of it and read it.
Yeah.
And then review it.
Yes, please.
And then remind me to review it.
Yes.
And then get the sequel. It's coming.
And a sequel. May. It's coming. That far off.
I may have to get physical copies of these books so I can have just a whole Turtleduck shelf on
That'd be cool.
my bookshelf over there. Although I'm running out of space on that bookshelf.
Yeah, you just need to get like 7 more bookshelves. We have a whole library wall in our office. And it works out well, except the wife has taken over all the shelves.
Oh.
I get like 3 shelves.
Oh.
She's a teacher, though, so she's got a lot of reference books.
Yeah. My shelves are completely, I got like 3rd and 4th layers going on in my shelving. There's just so little space. Too many books.
There's no such thing.
No, there really isn't.
Yeah, my to-be-read bookshelf is already too deep because that's as much as it can be, and there's 3 stacks on the floor. My regular shelf, it's getting too deep.
Oh my god. Maybe all null and void next week. I don't know. But that's the general idea of what I have going on.
Cool. I look forward to reading the rest because I've
Awesome.
already read Faye Touched.
Have you? Did you
Yep.
like it?
I did.
Oh, great. It makes me happy.
Although you are welcome to make fun of me because I don't think I actually reviewed it. I'm very bad about that.
Well, get on it. I need reviews. Please.
And let's see, question number 2 was, which of your characters has surprised you the most so far?
I think it's going to be a character named Fallon in Fate Touched. She is one of the main characters. She is a hunter, and basically how that works is you have the Fae, who are genetically engineered humans who are mortal but have no souls. They can obtain souls legally or illegally, and the Fate Touched hunters hunt the ones that kill while taking souls. So Fallon's one of the hunters, and she's looking for her sister. And in the course of that happening, she decides to search the stream of time, which means that she goes into this virtual reality program and takes a very addictive drug to open herself up to that whole experience, and she becomes an addict. And she has to fight.
Since you have notes and your internet has already gotten a little cranky, hey, it's Aaron's turn.
Great.
How'd that happen? So let's see here. We have 3 questions for each person. Question 1. As author of Fate Touched, how have you coordinated and paced your plot arcs across this planned series? I can talk, really.
Well, first of all, I just want to show the book in case anyone's not familiar. Fate Touched.
It looks shiny and a lot bigger than I expected. I only have it on my Kindle.
Yeah, it's huge. It's like almost 500 pages in print. So it's okay. As far as plot arcs are going, I think it's going to be a 5-book series, and as of right now, each book stands alone. Meaning you can read it, book 1 or book 2 when it comes out in May. Pretty much either or. Things do happen that build upon, the things that happen build. So it is a good idea to just read in order, but they do stand alone. I do have an overarching issue that's going to start in book 3 and should carry into through book 4 and 5. So that's how I have it planned so far, but that could change.
The writer's dilemma.
Pardon?
The writer's dilemma.
Yeah, that's it. This